You're not going far enough, or?
I am not sure. I blame my controller.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
There we go.
There we go. So we just do some totally intended platforming.
There's some sightseeing tour.
Yeah, welcome to the level. It's down there in the background. Don't worry about it. And this is the end of the level, so now you just need to find a hole.
Nah, it's not. It's,
And yeah, there you go.
we're still in the same level. It's just. Oh,
Yeah, but
what? Oh, this is awkward.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know.
Did she die?
I don't know.
Oh, well, that's a new one. Alright,
What happened?
okay. I guess maybe she just took too hard of a fall.
Maybe? I don't know. I tried doing a soft landing. Oh. Crap. It's totally intended. Just showing you guys what not to do.
I also thought there was a picnic basket up there.
There is. I didn't hit it.
This is just in order to get the schedule back on track. Don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on. I hope Cobb's not watching. He's going to be very upset with me.
Well, he'll always be upset, so it's fun.
I swear I'm good at this game.
Yeah, I think you're turning slightly too early.
I don't know.
You're bunking on the thing.
There we go. I didn't hit the picnic basket either over there. Oh no. I've done this in marathons. I've never had it be this bad.
Let's just stick with blaming the controller.
This is not my regular controller. This computer does not like my controller, so. There we go.
Alright, let's try this again. Yeah, just save your second jump for the very end, I guess.
Well, that's like what I did, or I thought I did.
One dude also lost a bunch of health from falling down, so I guess that might have been it.
The hard fall, maybe. There we go.
So
Maybe.
just make your way down the hole, and then you hit the loading zone, which it looked like you did before, but apparently not.
I don't know.
Whatever the case.
It's awkward.
So yeah, that's this game for the longest time didn't have any real tricks to it. It was just playing it for the most part as intended. And then within the span of a week, everything just opened up, and there was a lot of cool out of bounds stuff going on. So everything you'll see that doesn't look especially intended was found and discovered and worked out over 3 days.
No, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Yeah, you don't yet have a weapon, so you don't have a way to actually fight these guys. So,
Oh my God,
so the way they do things is just to give them cattle prods or whatever they're called. So they just insta kill you if they get near you. The moment you get a weapon, you can take
I ran off the
5
edge
hits.
there. If you run off the edge, you don't get your second jump.
Prince of Persia. It's like Prince of Persia, where until you get the sword, you get one-shotted by
Yeah.
everybody. And then you get a sword, suddenly you have 20 health.
I'm really upset right now. I've never given this bad of a run before.
It's okay. Yeah, so we're just trying to go out of bounds again, riding this thing and jumping on top of the invisible wall, or a box on top of
What? Oh.
top of
Okay.
a statue in
I'm
the
taking it.
background there. And once again, welcome to the completely intended way of playing this level.
It's not as hard as I make it out to be, I promise. Okay.
Alright,
So sad.
now move on to my least favorite part of this run. The sewers can be hard. So once again, you could see your kind of move during the fade out there.
But you don't want to run into the spikes. You'll
Yeah.
die instantly. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not great. Also, I guess we didn't mention it, but yeah, the picnic baskets that you pick up are just checkpoints. Good save.
Not good. Oh.
Nice.
I mean, I'm good at this game.
So yeah, normally we'd have to go towards the screen basically, since everything is locked in sort of a 2D perspective, or 2.5D or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, normally we'd have to move like really far down and then do like a puzzle to make some boxes appear in the water there. But yeah, you can just do some interesting jumps and curving around like this.
Basically, we suspect that the developers just made her regular jump too short for everything. And instead of actually fixing that, they were just like, yeah, second jump. But now her second jump is super OP, and we can just do pretty much whatever we want. Though I have no idea what is going on right now. See, I needed that 25 minutes. But yeah, so a lot of it is just jumping around things we need to do and around triggers and not actually ever really going out of bounds.
Yeah, except a couple levels, yeah.
Just taking a different route. I wasn't even
Can't remember
that
what some-
way.
Can't remember who said it. But
Where'd it go?
You hit it, so it fell down. So
Okay.
you can't use that anymore. Now it's back up, yeah.
No, I'm going this way. Forget it. All right. So the coming up is a fight that we only recently learned how to skip, and I really don't know how to do it.
It's terrible. I spent about an hour messing around, or was it almost 2 hours? I think messing around trying to make it work. I got it once, and it's the worst thing. But it's really really funny. The way it works, just because you boost yourself, you use a physics object to just boost yourself over the cutscene trigger, and then you have to like inch your way around the cutscene trigger, and then trigger the fight and die at the same time, and then it works out.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now, Red, if you guys haven't noticed, everything goes blue and slows down. Red has like these magic powers, which once you slow it down and stuff, you can do stuff with it. We're gonna use that just to help us land some hard, finicky landings and stuff.
Yeah, you can see the 3 blue vials in the top left next to her health. That's her magic basically. And yeah, the way it works is it's like a combo thing. So you enter like magic mode by pressing the left bumper, I think, and then depending on what face button you hit, you do a different attack. So if you press Y, you do like a big slam thing. If you press X, you just whack around like crazy.
We only use like 2 of them or something during speedrun. I use a third one because I'm silly. I don't think it really does anything extra. But so we're gonna skip a whole climbing scene and just ask these polite guards to help us.
Just
In
abuse them a little
theory.
bit.
Hang on. They're very rowdy. There we
There we
go. Okay, you explain this.
Yeah, so this is billboard skip. Essentially, there's another billboard to the right, so you can see there.
Oh, no.
So close. Yeah, that's essentially what you want to do. So instead of going all the way to the right and then raising the other billboard, just trying to jump at a very precise angle onto this roof, and you
Yeah.
can see, nice. See everything goes blue and slows down. That just makes it easier to like pinpoint the correct pixel you need to be on to hit like basically the seam of 2 invisible walls. So you just boost yourself up. And that saves a whole bunch of time. Because again, you would have to move all the way to the right of the level and do some puzzle stuff and then go all the way back.
This section is just storytelling.
Yeah.
Basically, she finds out her father has actually been the creator of these evil robot things that she hates. And now she's confused. Also, like this guy with the top hat.
He'll return later.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What am I doing now? Oh, so this is the first of kind of like 2.5 auto-scrollers, except we're running towards the screen. And yeah, this becomes Crash Bandicoot, fairy tale edition.
Yeah, so this is fairly straightforward, just knowing the path and just jumping. As long as you keep moving, like, you're in no danger whatsoever from the actual guards. You see they give up fairly easily.
They can't, they're afraid of water. I can't imagine why. Okay. You're better at explaining Unsafe Harbor.
Okay. Well, most of it's going to be fairly self-explanatory. We're once again just going to go out of bounds and do some stuff.
Yeah, that's
You see-
right. You can't be on my boat.
He's trying though. He's trying. But yeah, so this raft thing that you're riding on is the first of two. There's another one later on, which is another really long auto scroller that we did have a way of skipping previously, but now we have a way cooler way of skipping it, and that's coming up right here.
Ooh, thank you.
Nice. You're basically just gonna climb this roof.
Which this is normal. Whoops.
Yes.
This is not normal. There we go.
Totally normal. And do some jumps on some roofs and some boxes, and yeah, welcome again to the completely intended way of solving levels.
This is not intended?
Yeah, this
Look
view
at
is
this
exactly
building.
what the game wanted you
This
to see.
building is beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Look at the architecture. And we have a pirate ship for a second. Oh god.
Get up there. Oh. So
Good save.
we learned the invisible walls blindly. We never could actually see what they were. We had the trial and error at. There we go.
Yeah, you just fall into the loading trigger for the
It's okay.
next level, which is a little boss fight thing. That is kind of interesting because he's on this big platform, and you're supposed to kill a bunch of rats, and then he shoots out some green stuff, and then you're supposed to avoid three green guys that run around for a while.
Ooh,
But
where-
you can just hit him through the grate.
Hang
So just trying to line up to get the right angle, and then you can just jump under him and just
This is so
your axe
weird.
just
There
pokes
we
him.
go.
Yeah.
Whoop.
So if you can see his health bar on the right, it keeps going down.
Hang on. The rats the rats are really mean right now. I don't know. There we go.
Yeah, the way this game does collision is kind of strange too.
Oh.
So the rats all have collision, and you can end up on top of them, and you're just bouncing around, and then you can't control anything.
I'm
So
just
it's,
gonna.
it's a bit of struggle. So yeah, this is the
Do it
slow.
a slower
Yeah,
way.
this is just the slower way of doing things, but you can avoid the rats completely. Because the problem with this is if a bunch of rats spawn in, when you kill 10 rats, then that triggers the next section of the boss fight.
They keep hitting me. It's really rude.
At which point you can't do this anymore. So yeah, this is a bit slower, but it's fun.
I went to split. You can't split right now.
So that's the Pied Piper fights. And now this is probably the coolest skip in the game, just because of how much it actually skips. This level is kind of neat because you can see pretty much all of it from where you're standing. Like you can see the level continues like further back into the screen. And there's a lot of stuff in the background that you would normally have to do and interact with and stuff. But you're gonna take some shortcuts.
Oops. I need that. You never know.
I never noticed that boat in the background.
Oh yeah, I notice it all the time. All right.
So yeah, this trick is fairly finicky because you have to
Oops.
balance
Oh,
on
oh.
some pretty.
Oh, I
pretty
didn't trigger the rock.
Interesting. You have to balance yourself on some pretty tight invisible or some pretty tight collision stuff, like up here. And then from here you're gonna run and jump and curve. Nice, first try, beautiful. Yeah, you have to like curve around an invisible wall, and then you make it appear. Nice.
Get off my
It's
rock.
perfect. And if you're fast enough, you can make this on the first cycle instead of having to wait for.
So everything in the back you're supposed to do casually.
Yeah, everything is actually part of the level, but we just ignore all of it. Oh, rip.
He just jumped off. He couldn't deal with it. Okay.
It's this big spiky thing at the end here. And then we get to another auto-scroller, essentially an auto-scroller. It does have one trick that is kind of neat, but for all intents and purposes, it's just an auto-scroller. If you don't go fast enough, you just die, so. And yeah, this is another just story segment where you just run around and interact with things and have little cutscenes that's Bunny skipping.
So what you learned What's she learning now?
That I
Something.
think Woolfe is going to Grandma's house to kill Grandma. But there's a secret about Grandma that you guys will find out in a
Yeah.
next level.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this game.
Oh yeah. So do you want to explain the reason why there's no sequel to the game, and like why there will be a sequel?
I'm not sure exactly why there's no sequel, but this was a Kickstarter game, and it was not especially successful. I think the Kickstarter was fairly successful. The what followed the Kickstarter, the actual development and stuff, was not all that successful. And the game ends.
With like a
Yeah, it ends with a cliffhanger, and it's super obvious that
And-
everything's supposed to be explained in the sequel
Yeah.
that never existed.
they just that after you win the game, they tell you a bunch of things that make no sense, and then they never made a second game.
Yeah.
The company went bankrupt, and then another company bought them, but because a lot of the Kickstarter people didn't get their prizes, they didn't get stuff that they were supposed to get. So another company bought the game, or whatever, and they distributed the rest of the Kickstarter stuff, but they are not going to do anything with this game.
So this is the skip in this section where she's basically trying to jump and line up right at the curve of the vines there, and she's going to use that to just get a bunch of height and just boost over this big barrier. Normally you're supposed to break down like one set of vines, then 3 wolves spawn, then you kill those, then you break down another vine, then so on and so forth.
This camera is just the worst.
I hope VSync is not on.
No,
We checked that, right?
yeah. If VSync is on, then this is like very impossible.
It's very tight, yeah.
Hang on. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, optimally we're gonna have like 80 or 90 FPS for this trick, so if VSync is on, then you're in a little bit of trouble.
VSync lit to 60.
I'm also not sure why I asked, because I can see the screen tearing, so. It's getting kind of close, but not quite getting the height.
I feel so upset right now.
We'll give it a
She's
couple.
bonking her head on the branch.
Okay.
I know that.
I'll give it a couple more attempts, and then you can just do it normally if it doesn't work.
Oh my god. I feel like VSync is on, even though it's not. It's just. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just do it in Nintendo way. It's fun.
Oh
So,
wait,
yeah.
I don't have any.
There's some in the boxes, I think, but you're also getting some now, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, you break one vine, you kill 3 wolves, then break one vine, kill 3 wolves. Pretty basic stuff.
Oh come on, do the thing. There we go.
Yeah, so as you can see, this doesn't take long, so it's not that big of a skip, but it looks pretty cool.
I'm so sad. I wanted to show it off. This is like my worst marathon run ever. I've not been doing like anything good today.
That's okay.
I guess Billboard Skip was really good though.
Yeah, Billboard was nice. Second try.
Every time. Alright, so we're done with this dumb level.
Coming up on the last level now, which is just a boss fight in 3 phases, where we learned that Grandma is a bit of a badass.
Alright, so if you guys know games like WoW or whatever, you have all your party members and whatnot. And obviously Red is pretty good with the damage. So she's our DPS. And Granny is our tank. She's going to tank all the wolves for us.
She's going full bear form here.
Nice. Alright, there we go.
So she just groups them up, and then you proceed to beat the crap out of the wolves. So yeah, once again, it's a similar thing here, where you kill a bunch of wolves, then Wolf spawns, the BB Wolf, the man. And then you deal a bunch of damage to him, then he runs away, and then the wolves return, and it just goes back and forth like that. With the exception of the second phase is a bit interesting. Okay. So yeah, it's all based on just like HP thresholds, where if you deal enough damage, then he goes away. If you don't deal enough damage, then he will just stick around and keep beating on you.
Okay.
So now these hands.
Look at that wolf.
Oh, he's getting jig with it. Yeah, so now these hands will pop up, but you can just stand on Wolfe's head and just keep dealing damage to him, which is pretty great.
Oh, he's mad now.
Oh, this is, it's fine.
Oh, it's fine. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, that speeds up. Normally he has like 2 or 3 more attacks he will do in that phase, but yeah, if you just bounce on his head and beat him, then it's all good.
Alright.
Alright, then time is coming up soon. Once the cutscene triggers here. And time. Yeah.
See, this is why I said 25 minutes.
that's
I
fair,
knew
that's
something would happen. But yeah, so after this, Red meets up with Granny. Granny tells her all these things. In one of the levels, she talks about missing girls, and Granny's like, yeah, you gotta go save them because you have magic powers.
Yeah.
And there are other people besides Wolf that are bad.
And basically they save all the plot for the ending cutscene, and then they just dump a whole bunch of stuff on you that you have no context for. It's just all of a sudden, happy.
Like, you killed Wolf, but then, like, a wolf appears
Yeah,
at the
it's-
very end? I don't know.
It's a lot of strange stuff.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's
Did
Wolf.
Wolf kill the father?
Huh?
Did Wolf kill the father, or Fred just like killing his chief for no reason?
I don't know if we ever actually figured that out.
They leave that up for
She just wanted to kill Wolf because she thought it was her father. So, yeah.
leave it up for interpretation.
Yep. So, this game is available to buy, but you're not going to really get any fulfillment out of it. So,
Yeah, the moment you said it's available
Yeah.
for you to buy, but don't.
yeah. Well, again, because PPG is not available for purchase.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah,
Alright,
that's it.
cool stuff.